Aldo, over to you.
Hello, everybody. Good morning. It's great to be here talking about sales with everyone.
Great to have you
Always
on.
a fun subject. Yeah. The question I had for you was in regards to creating urgency, and especially finding that balance between not sounding um, like you're pressuring people. Um, we're having this challenge with this guy who will create urgency, but he will be very reactive to the objection emotionally. So what will happen is that he will immediately lose credibility because he gets disappointed right after he gets the objection. So although we've tried to coach him like, hey, don't get upset. Don't. It's very evident when you're upset after the objection and you try to push. So I'm very curious about how you approach coaching this type of salespeople in, let's say, absorbing the first no, um, and and also when to create urgency, right? Because usually when you create urgency after the objection, it's only pressure. It's usually better to anticipate and kind of prevent it and try to create urgency prior to the objection.
Correct.
But I guess the question I have, it's focused more on tonality, especially after the objection. How do you coach that specifically?
Um, okay. Good, very, very good question. Aldo, what is your practice area?
Well, we do traffic tickets mainly.
Okay. So, um, very good question. Bit of a complex question. So let me kind of take it from the start. Two ways to create urgency in this scenario. First and foremost is if there's an actual hard deadline, right? So that automatically creates urgency if there's a hard deadline on something that they have to get done or in. That's first. Second way you're going to create urgency is through the hell in the heaven and building the relationship. So through going and diving deeper into hell and the pain point, you're going to, well, theoretically, they're going to remind you why they're there, what the pain point's been, and why it's been so difficult. And then that, if need be, can be brought back up during the objection handling and kind of go back through and say, like, hey, I know you had mentioned that X X and Y is going on, right? You said this is your biggest fear. Yeah. Okay. And when we went through your options, you said doing nothing was off the table, doing it yourself was off the table. Is that fair to say? Yeah. And so you're looking for a firm. Yes. All right. So, right. And so then walking them through that. And then if it really came down to it, ending with some version, like if you exhausted all routes during objections, ending with some version of, um, let me ask, what's next for you? It's okay if we don't get started, but what's next? Like, what's your next step? And identifying what that is for that person, because a lot of people in that moment are going to recognize they don't really have a next step. Like this is kind of next step. Does that make sense?
Yep, yep. So when you ask that what's next question, how do you balance the tonality so it doesn't sound confrontational? How
Mm-hmm.
do you coach the people to actually have a have the right delivery when presenting that challenge to the customer, quote unquote?
A lot of practice. So, first and foremost, you do have to change your tone. So you have to come from a more empathetic tone. So there's a difference between me saying, well, what's next, right? I mean, what's next on plate for you? And hey, look, I get where you're coming from. I get where you're at right now. I'm just curious, what's next for you? What is the next step? Look, those are two completely different questions, right? And so my answer is a lot of practice. Having them practice that particular question, pull the recordings of them doing that, listen to it with them, make them identify what they sound like, train them what it should sound like. So demonstrating. then lots of reps of that, like until they have it down, until they hear and understand and can deliver the tone that has to be delivered. But the only way that's going to happen is them doing it, listening to themselves doing it, having some form of demonstration where they can actually like hear it being done correctly, them trying to mirror, practicing, doing that again. It's like a rinse and repeat until they've got it. And the same could be said for really every part of the sales process, but that's the recipe to make that happen.
Well, thank you so much.
Of course, that was a really great question. And as far as your very first question there, which was how to not feel deflated after the first objection, right? My honest answer is they should go in expecting they're going to close the deal, but they should also go in expecting that they're going to face objections. And so if you know going into a call you're going to face objections, sure, of course, I know there's lots of people in here that don't, we'd all love a sales call to go from start to finish and no objections. It's just not a reality most times. So they should go into that call expecting, their mindset is I'm going to get the deal closed, but they should expect that they are going to have to overcome objections to get to that end point.
100%.
Does
Appreciate
that
it.
help?
A lot. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate the question.
All right.
All right, guys. Floor's back over to you. If there's anybody that has any questions they have not yet had the opportunity to ask, now would be the time to let me know. Really, really good questions today. Appreciate you guys for that. No? Going once? Going twice? Nothing? All right, guys. Like I said, really great questions today. Thank you to everyone that's participating. Appreciate the questions. Thanks for being on and listening. If you're listening, like Betsy said, feel free to go back to those old recordings. They're valuable. Go listen to the open office hours. You can take a lot from those open office hours. A lot of different questions, a lot of different experiences, a lot of different objections. Go listen to them. Especially if you're new and you're trying to get trained up, even if you've been here for a while, it's good to be able to refresh yourselves on those. That said, obviously, I hope everyone has a great rest of the week this week. If you're a firm in the area that Milton's supposed to be running through, I obviously hope everyone is safe and sound and you got the proper precautions in place. So prayers out to all those families. And I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend. I'll see you guys back on Tuesday for coaching and training if you're in the Done For You program. Otherwise, looking forward to seeing you guys next week. Appreciate you. Thank you very much.